Welcome to the first episode of Cooking with Kids. I'm Dylan, and in the description, as you know, I'm 11 years old. And tonight I'm going to be cooking it's meant to be sausage and leek, but for today we are using chicken and leek. We've got 5 chicken thighs in there, and we've got one more there to chop up. We've got about 2 large potatoes, and we're putting 2 small in just to make it around about even. We got 2.5 leeks, and there's some onion in there. There's about a full onion in there. And all I need to do to get it ready is chop up the last bit of this potato, part of the leek that I've saved, and I've got a chicken thigh left. So what you're meant to do is try and get cubes about this big, and then when you've got to about quarter left, you're going to put it on the part that you've already chopped off and start chopping off a bit at a time, and then just chop it in half and then carry that on. But it should be on about your second chop where you're going to find that is a bit big. So if you want, you can keep it that if you want, but if you think you can chop it like that. These are uneven. I haven't done them as well as I could, because I could spend about an hour trying to chop them evenly. But so when you got about that big, you can put it back onto the side and then chop off that bit, chop that in half. And if you want, put it like that, chop them both in half again. So now we've done the potatoes, we're going to put them in the bowl with the rest of the potatoes that I did beforehand. And then we're going to move on to the leek. So what I find much easier how to cut leeks is I get the leek and chop it in half. And then I make sure it's all straight so you don't chop it unevenly. And can't forget to chop the ends off. Almost did that, thanks Mum for reminding me. That's why I was looking up there. So I've put the ends in the bin, so they're ready, and then I'm going to put it, the half I cut on the edge so it doesn't slip around and you cut your fingers, and then chop a bit off at a time. I find it easier to swipe, try not to scrape, because then you're not doing this and then having bits everywhere and then chopping it again. And then on the last bit, the smallest bit, obviously it's much easier to do that if it decides to chop, which it won't, so I'm going to leave that for there. Any long bits like this, they're quite easy to chop through, so just chop through them and then move on to the next bit of leek, which is falling apart. And then do the same again. And then this bit, surprisingly, because I thought they were pre-cleaned, but there's a couple of muddy bits. That's what's also good about chopping it in half. You see the muddy bits. As you can see, that it's quite gritty. Eating that's horrible. So you're just going to go and try and thoroughly clean it out. So then, as you saw before, it was quite dirty and muddy. That bit's in. Clean as you can probably get it. And then just chop that long bit up that fell off. And then put this with your onion and your leek, or the rest of your leek. I like to run a bit of water in there, usually, because the grit is actually horrible. Yeah, I'm just going to put a ton of water in there. cleaning it so it doesn't get too wet and all the water goes into your one pot. Then we're going to put that to the side for a minute and bring over, I've got one that's especially made for cutting meat. Well, it has two sides, so you can cut carrots or whatever on one side, but this side it has the spikes to keep, in this case, the chicken down. So I'm just gonna cut off the edge that's a bit fatty, and then I'm gonna go to the other side, cut off, there's a bit of a chunk, so I'm gonna cut that off, and if it doesn't cut first time, just go over. Then I'm gonna put that there, hold it like this so it doesn't swipe with your knife. Try your hardest to cut through it. It might take 1 or 2 times, but also every time I cut chicken, which isn't very often, but I always have a little pile of stuff that's either too small or, in some cases, a bit too fatty. So when I've cut that up, I'll like turn this around, and then I'll do the same with this. Chop the edge off, that's a bit fatty. Cut that in half because that wasn't very big. And then just keep flipping it around. I don't really know why I do that, but for some reason it just makes it much easier for me. And then cut that in half because, again, you need them about bite size, but try not to make it too big because hopefully you won't need a knife, because it'll be quite tricky to cut stuff up in the middle of doing it. But don't make it too small, because then if it's too small it won't be very but it will take quite a lot of meat in each serving. And then if there's too much meat in the meal, then it would still taste nice, but it would look more like a meat eater's thing, I guess. But it's the same, so you don't really have to, but you can if you want. Put that with the rest of your chicken, and then put the chicken that you don't need. First wash that
with soap.
And then thoroughly again, like you did at the start, thoroughly wash your hands, because the raw chicken is probably poisonous, or it gives you food poison. It can kill you. One of my friends, he had food poisoning, but luckily he's okay now. So now I've done that, you don't need your knife again. So I'm going to put that in the sink, and then at the end I'll wash that up, as I think it says in the description. I'll bring my bowls over, and then the first job is to cook the chicken. So if I grab myself a wooden spoon, I'll put all this in my pot. You don't have to use any oils, because the oil from the meat, or the fat from the meat, will make the oil for the rest of the meat. So just mix that around a bit. And then this is all on hob, so turn it a bit low, a bit high, and then put that on for 5 minutes. And then all I need to do every so often is make sure, in fact I don't really need a timer, so just make sure when it looks cooked, is when it's done. So just make sure you're just keeping it so one side won't burn. But also make sure it will cook properly. That side will cook properly. Because if it doesn't cook properly, then actually after, it's going to go back in the oven again, or it's going to go back on again with this on. But that's later. I'll deal with that later. So when that's been on for about a minute, or less probably, just give it another stir. And then after we've cooked the chicken, not fully, I'll start prepping the rest now. Alexa, turn the kettle on. Thank you. So what we need here is chicken stock. We need to get a white wine. We used the white wine last time I did this. Just open that. And then it's meant to be about 100 ml. I'll just pull that in because I know there's less than 100 ml there. And then I'll put that there. I'll grab the new one that we went and got today. I don't like the smell. Up there, if you have a measuring jug, use it. It's very handy. If you don't, just do. It's about the tip of my thumb, but do you? And then make sure this isn't burning. Luckily, it doesn't look like it has. And then we get our boiling water. Another 100 ml of that. We put in chicken stock. Quite tricky, this one. Yay! And then smaller spoon, have preferably. Scoop it out, plump it in, and mix. So the white wine in here is also being mixed in with it. The white wine just flavours it, I guess. Ooh. Try and crush the chicken stock cube up as much as you can. You could probably use one of the ox ones, the little powdered ones. You could probably use that. That would be much easier, but you would still have to mix it. And then for now, I'll just leave that to the side and put the white wine where it's meant to go. And then I'll leave that out because I need to go in the bin after with that. Also, what I always try to do, is I try to tidy up as I'm cooking, because then you don't have to go around all for about half an hour after going, oh, this needs to go in the bin. Oh, what should I do with these? So yeah. So we need to get this again. And then it's getting quite long, this video, I'm pretty sure. So hopefully we'll see